Excited to get a chance to sit with you. I haven't seen you in about a year. How you been?
It's been a while. Good to see you.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm really impressed with what you've been doing. What works is like I read your comic book, and I had to say it was like the worst part about it was going to the last page and knowing there was no more afterwards.
I think that's a big compliment.
Yeah, I was just like, I got there and I'm like, this is kind of a dickish mode. Why is there not more that he's actually putting out? Because it was just
It was like 48 pages though.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
And however, if you actually decided to write a novel even on that, that would have been really sick. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to your next thing. You said it's called the Devil's Box.
Yeah, Devil's Box.
So what's up with the Devil's Box?
It's this magical box that they find it grants you unlimited wishes, right? But there's only one catch. You have to sell in 3 days for less than you pay for it. If not, it's going to take your soul. And the origin of where the box is not clear, but the box is discovered in Thailand. And Tony, he's the father of Sophia, which is the main character. He buys this on the trip. You know, he buys something for his wife, and he buys this box because it's a little musical box. He buys it for his daughter, and it has all the gems and jewels and a big dragon on it and everything, which I think is pretty cool. And he gives it to the daughter, and accidentally she realizes the power of the box.
So where did you come up with the concept of it?
Um, well, when I was in kindergarten, they had this story. Um, well, I guess all Asian type of stories, where there was one where this girl went into a room, and every second she stayed in there, it was 100 years past in the world. So like she didn't age or her friends age, and like it was just crazy. And but also in this book, it had the magic box. But if you didn't sell it, you know, there was some crazy things. And I was like, what if you were required to buy it for cheaper? And so the last person who buys it for a penny is stuck with that box.
Wouldn't there also be a loophole of actually?
There might be a loophole. I'm talking to another person about this loophole, but I don't want to get beyond myself right now.
All right, I was actually thinking about like if it's you go into the negatives to be able.
Well, me personally, I have like it's kind of a shared universe. Well, what I'm working on, right?
Oh,
So I'm not really. It's not going to be shown right away. It's going to take a long time before it's shown that it's a whole shared universe. But things are going to overlap. There's going to be Easter eggs in certain books moving forward because I have plans for other books.
where did you get the inspiration for these different Easter eggs?
Uh, I worked with a writer named Travis Gibbs, and he always did the Easter eggs. I worked with other stories, but like there was this favorite comic, hands down, is Black Monday Murders, right?
Hmm.
And all the research and all the intriguing stuff that went into the book was incredible, right? So I was like, what if I could slowly work on that? Like, I didn't get into comics because of writers, but Jonathan Hickman, insane. He's an insane writer, right? And like, I want to be able to read books like that where there's twists and catches, and that's what I would like to read.
Do you remember growing up? We would actually stay up and we'll watch this one show.
Out of Limits. Oh yeah, that was crazy. My favorite one was probably the only way the house didn't eat you up if you were drunk.
Yeah,
That's probably my favorite one.
and the way that they defeated the house is by injecting it full of alcohol.
Mhm.
And so the reason I bring up that show is that they had a lot of overlap between all the episodes.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I wasn't sure if that was something that you were looking for.
Well, I kind of want like that, but like I want some things that happen before things that happen behind things. I have one major character that's going to tie a lot of stuff together. I don't want to be a spoiler. I don't want to tell people what's happening. Like it's going to happen way down the road.
Well, I've actually known you all my life, and you have lived on this earth before I was born.
Yeah. I'm old.
Yeah, we know you're old, bro. But art has always been a passion of yours. Drawing has always been a passion of yours, and you took a kind of a hiatus for a bit. What actually provoked you to get back into it?
Well, it was a combination of a couple things. I was with my ex-wife and online one day, and you remember we were around when Image first came out. All the characters came out of Image, and then like that whole phase died down. And I was just curious what was going on with Image. Then it became more story driven,
Hmm.
and I saw that, and it was pretty cool. Then about a year or two later after that, I got a job at TLC. And TLC on the weekends, because I used to drive the ambulance on the weekends. So I ended up stopping at Fourth World in Smithtown, and I would see a variety of art, right?
Hmm.
And I always thought you had to be a legendary artist like Todd McFarlane or Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, et cetera, et cetera. But and then I looked at the art. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not. I wasn't attracted to it, right?
Hmm.
And I felt like
Continue talking.
I had the ability to keep up with the artists that I saw on these books.
Keep talking now.
And what's it called? So, like, I'm not saying I'm a greatest artist, but I feel like I'm okay. You know, if I feel like I'm all okay, I can handle with some of these people, right?
You're good. I'm still on there. I'm still on.
And if I can handle with these artists,
You're good.
if I can hang with these artists, then why not? Why not put it aside? I read this comic called Winter World, right? And it was basically a winter apocalypse, right? And the world basically froze over, and all these different groups are fighting for like food storages, or food units, and I guess it's like some heat inside the middle of the planet. So they learned how to use it to for the food. And I just said, wow, it's so cool that comics went from superheroes to storytelling. Like me honestly, I'm exhausted with the whole superhero thing, right? I'm like, all right, we've seen three Peter Parkers, we've seen three Bruce Waynes. I'm like, all right, the superhero things was cool for a while, and now it's just like, okay, like eventually, yeah, but right now I need a little break from superheroes.
So you, when you actually were with your ex-wife, went to a comic book store, and that rekindled your.
Well, once I read the one book, yeah, it rekindled my imagination. It's just like it's a different perspective.
But even what got you back into drawing? Because I know like drawing was always like a passion of yours. I remember the Spider-Man that you put
Yeah,
up on a black piece of paper,
yeah.
and Mom framed it. It was really dope, man. It was
Yeah.
just like it almost looked like you traced it, but you.
No, I didn't trace it though.
I know you didn't trace it. I
Yeah.
said that it looked like it,
Yeah, yeah.
and you have had some serious skills. So like watching you get back into drawing, and
I was really bad when I came back. When I first started drawing again, I was bad. And I was so mad at myself that I got so bad.
Mhm.
So I kept on drawing and drawing. Then would look up different methods, the Lunas method. Then I would use more models, and I would use more um, things so I could draw. And I was like, then I learned different techniques, and then I was like, I'm getting better, and I still at this point think I can get better.
I honestly think that you have gotten a lot better. I'm just checking the camera to see if you shut the gate.
Okay,
I wasn't sure if you shut the gate or not.
you like that, right?
Yep. But no, it's when I was like watching because I remember you were telling me about doing the three different parts of like a person's face, and then you were doing all about triangles and circles and
Yeah.
squares.
Well, I was explaining to people like you don't have to have natural artistic talent to draw, right? Because if you draw an oval and then you draw two circles, a triangle, and a rectangle, you got a face without even trying. But with the Lunas method, like it'll break it down to the part, then you pull the line for the draw, and then you have the 3 lines in there to keep the level of the eyes, and then the circle on the side, so the eyes are not too far apart. Because I realized everything is about proportion. Like even your face is about proportion. So like when you learn more, you can get better. Like when I was young, I had natural talent. When now I don't think it's so much natural talent. It's I work on perspectives and try to learn more every time I draw.
So there was people they use different frames of thinking. So Carol Dweck talks about in the book Mindset, where she will talk about people having natural talent, natural gifts, and they're able to just do the best thing ever.
Yeah,
But then if they have a fixed mindset, that's the ceiling that they'll stay at. Where people were not gifted, they will actually continue if they have a growth mindset that continues to move forward.
yeah.
And so you just suck so bad that you said, I want to suck even worse and spend more time doing something I'm shitty at now to become a pretty good artist.
Well, the thing is, if you knew you were good at something, right? And I knew I was good in high school, right? I was good, and like I had a friend, Michael Lima. He was a guy that worked at his craft all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I would take breaks, and I took it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Then I didn't draw for maybe 15 years,
Mhm.
right? And I'm like thinking, nah, just pick it up and draw again. It was horrendous. I keep some of those bad pictures to remind myself, this was you, what you did, right? You were this bad. Remember that. All right. So I keep them. I think like my pencils, like I can draw with my pencils. I think I can compete with most people. Inks, I gotta get better at. Coloring, I gotta get better at. And those are things that you learn. Like those are techniques you can always learn online.
So why is it hard for you just to take the small wins of like all the growth that you do? Because even when you are taking a compliment, you have to throw out some type of negative shade towards yourself instead of being able to just be like, damn, I'm fucking actually pretty good at this.
Defense.
All right.
I don't know. Like it's subconscious.
Because when I hear you talk, man, it's like what works. My brother fucking started up a company. He started up an awesome book, really fucking good. And like, huh, it's like when you talk about these other things and other perspectives and stories, it's not just art.
Well, you gotta like people say don't compare yourself. I don't agree with that at all because you need a marker. You can't tell yourself you're great. What are you comparing yourself to be great? Like I'm not gonna say anybody, but I know people.
You can man. Keep talking.
I know people who've told me how amazing they are. Right, whether it's cooking, uh, painting, fishing, whatever. But what's your benchmark that you're great? Like, because honestly, I'd rather be humble and someone tell me, "Oh, that was pretty good," or someone tell me that was total ass, and then I'll ask them why. You know, so
So no, I'll throw something out there to you, and I'll just use a something easy metaphor. If you can keep up with Usain Bolt, great. You're fucking quick.
yeah, yeah.
Here's another workout, but you can't lift up as much as fucking Brian Shaw. So what does that mean? That you're out of shape?
No, it's not out of shape. It's just you can't compare apples to oranges.
Or if we want to talk about writing, if we can talk about a person like Charles Dickens writing a short story
Okay,
compared to say Stephen King, both different types of literature, both different strengths. Like you're coming at this art in your comics from two fucking amazing strengths, which is like your drawing capability
Mhm.
and your ability to storytell. And I think that's a dual wielded weapon
I'll
right
be
there.
honest. Like I feel confident in my drawing, but I'm on the infant stage of my writing because I was never a natural writer. I was never like I met like Travis Gibb, I met Chuck, I met Phil. I talk to these guys, right? These guys are legit writers, right?
Hmm.
I'm not a legit writer, but I do work to get better. So like, because that's not my natural craft, you know. So I will, because once basically when I saw like, I guess Travis was the first person I had write a book for me,
Mhm.
and I saw the format. I said I could do it. Then I hired another writer, and then I was like, yeah, I could definitely do it, right? And I was like, so I started working at it, getting better. Like one day, I'm gonna hope to say to myself, it's good, right?
Mhm.
But until then, I'm going to grind and learn more and more and more because I know the three stages in writing is all about the way, the flow of the story, you know, the character development.
Mhm.
Those things I understand. But like when you have these trick, sneaky sequences, that's something I need to really work better at.
I still think what you do, man, and your vision right there, you might not be able to articulate it fully.
Yeah.
Wow. It's kind of like when you were trying to spell for the first time.
yeah,
For the first time.
yeah,
And then trying to put sentence structure together.
yeah,
Extremely hard or extremely difficult. And now you're doing this. And now what you're doing is it's like you had this bar, you fucking had the bar set, you clear it. But then you put up this other bar. And you're like, I need to clear that. And you start clearing it. Then here's another bar. It's like, when are you going to be able to say, you know what? Fuck, I've been able to do quite a bit already. And learning off these strengths that you're able to persevere and overcome. Like, this is just another hurdle to you, bro.
yeah,
This is kind of like you're just making yourself bigger, faster, stronger. Like another analogy I use for working out,
yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
of course.
Small ass legs. It
okay,
was. It was a weakness. It was his legs.
okay,
And then he worked on it. He worked on his craft. He worked on his legs over and over and over again. And then he got known for his legs. So what are you going to be known? You'll be like, hey, I decided to start drawing, but I'd rather be a writer. Is that what's going to happen?
no, I like writing. Is never gonna be the love like some people's love for writing. I think drawing to make a still because I like to draw and I like to I enjoy writing. I like writing a lot better than I thought I would, right? But I definitely like drawing better because it's a still, you know, like a little frame, like you know, like people when they make the movies, it's a little still frame. So like, because that's something you can visually see yourself getting better. You know, like hands, lips, eyes, nose, feet, different positions, backgrounds, like the trees, the branches, the bark on the tree. You know, like and the detail. I want to get better at my shadows and lighting. You know, like just you can see the shadows. Like I said, my favorite guy, Tom Coker, he's a master of shadows and dark. Right, like you can see the shadows in the eyes. Like you barely see the face, but you see the face. It's just insane when like you want to get to. And I guess like when you're drawing, you don't see great at that moment because you're always looking at I need to get there.
Because it just seems like everything will be better when we get there. And then all of a sudden, when you get there, you still at the original spot because everything else is just.
I can feel I don't want to get there.
It's going to be good, but that's about you start looking at the journey of life, and you start looking at the progress and progression of your skill sets. You went from being pretty much your words complete ass at drawing to doing an amazing job. You went from not being able to storytell to
doing a solid job.
Doing a solid job. So the reason I want to actually bring this type of part up into our conversation is because your storytelling, you're doing a great job at it. The people that have had the privilege of reading your books or even hearing you speak, it's fascinating. Like I tell you, I loved your book, really did, man.
I appreciate it.
And I'm not exaggerating when I said I kind of wanted another one to come out. And I understand why people stop actually reading the first episode of comics because it sucks. It's like we're manga.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden you want more and you want more and you want more.
Yeah.
And if you put out more of this content, I believe more people will be able to be blessed. So before we get more into the Devil's Box, the September Paradox, what inspired that?
I kind of like, I do a lot of daydreaming fantasy. There was like one girl I really loved. I lost her, right? And I was around for 9/11. It was a big event. And what if, like The Walking Dead, the zombies are the background of the story. What if 9/11 is the background of the story? Where it's basically, it's a love story, guy loses his girl and 9/11. And what if he could change it?
Hmm.
What would you do? Would you take the chance of changing it to make it better? Or even though there's a possibility you can make it worse, would you take that chance? So I thought about it and I said, honestly, I think this is pretty cool because I don't think it's oversaturated because I don't know, maybe it's taboo to touch 9/11, but it is 24 years later. There's a whole generation of people around that weren't even around for 9/11.
I could drink alcohol now.
They weren't even born.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of taboo around 9/11 because if you ask questions about it, you seem like a conspiracy theorist. If you look at certain statistical facts, you become a person. If you have a off idea of it, you seem like you're mocking it. And there was a lot of emotions. Us growing up in Long Island, there was quite a few people that were in our community that lost family members that day in that crash. There was firefighters that actually died much younger because of the asbestos. There was a lot of people that were harmed secondary from that relationship. But the fact is, if we just immortalize it in a time capsule, we're not looking at it from the possibility of, hey, why not risk it just to be able to be in love?
Yeah.
Like honestly, there's times in my life where if I could actually just snap my finger and say, hey, if I was healed and I came back from the Marine Corps, I would not be where I'm at right now. And but the other fact is to it is I wouldn't know what I know now. So like that whole change is kind of interesting, like how you splinter off. Remember Quantum Leap?
Oh yeah.
That's what I think about.
Oh yeah. That is a dope idea.
And how like that person is actually changing up for love. Like
He had Ziggy over there telling him where to go back and forth. Yeah, I just love that show.
but so after how many more episodes or how many more books do you think that you're going to write off of?
At least another 3, maybe 4.
Why 3 or 4?
Because I like to tell the story, the whole complete story.
What happens if there could have been more that you could have added to it?
No, because I'm an indie guy, right? I'm not going to have an ongoing story because first of all, I don't have the money and I don't have the time to put into once. The thing is, my mind is all over the place, right? And it takes me a lot to focus. I already wrote 250 pages for the story. I still have some more to write, but they're not thin books. These are not like 24 pages for September Paradox. They're like 48, 50 pages a piece each book, right? So it's a decent chunk of story that you get in each book. So I want a complete story because if it was 20 pages, it'd probably be like 12 books.
do you ever see yourself? What would be a dream of yours if these books, after you make them, would you ever want to see them make like a little manga series or like make a little series about this stuff,
Um,
like a talking video?
with Satanic Paradox, that's the one story I would definitely like to try to get a Netflix deal, but I'm not. That's big dreams. Right now, I just want to sell books, get them on shelves, do cons here and there. I would like to be able to do this as a second job where I don't have to work two jobs and I have this as my second job. That would be great.
That would be sick, man.
Yeah.
Like, here's another question: why did you come up with what works and not spelling what correctly?
Well, let's to be politically correct. What works? I couldn't get the domain for it spelled correctly. I'm a New Yorker. How do we pronounce what? What? You. And where the idea came with, I don't want to say where I got it from. Right?
Okay.
Because I got it from somebody that told me do it a certain way to get the name. And I hated how she came up with the name, but she came up with the name.
Thank you to whoever it is and being able to figure it out because it's actually kind of cool in a way. And you and I both grew up listening to hip hop and misspelling of words and
Ebonics.
phonics. I actually joke about it. America is more of the bastardized English compared to the English in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool, like what works. So we have the box. What is another one that you got coming up in the background that you have already?
The next one up after that is Sacrificial Lambs.
Ooh. Tell me a little bit about this one.
Basically, it's Illuminati meets vampires. Basically, no more hunting. They lure you in with money.
They already have this. It's called Epstein's Island. So
basically, it's based on Epstein. I'm only kidding.
No, I know you're kidding, man. But dude, it's impressive because like even when I get a chance to talk to you on the phone,
Yeah.
we never talk about your dreams. We never talk about your goals. And it's awesome that you say, you know what, Will, I'll sit down with you and talk.
This was really cool that you did this. This is actually your idea.
I know it was my idea. It's because I wanted to be able to spend some time with you.
Yeah.
It
was cool coming out here to Montana to talk about this.
I'm glad. Montana it's an interesting place. There was something that you said twice to me in 24 hours. Montana's a nice place to reset.
Yeah, it's a good reset place.
And I shared my experiences about the resetting of it. And I think what I'll try to do is if we get some time, take you down to a nicer place and get you over by a stream and realize that sometimes like just getting out in nature and writing, disconnecting from the hustle and bustle, they're able to really retrain and refocus your brain. Who knows? You might make hillbilly madness coming up out of this.
Oh, easy. I'm a hip hop guy. Love New York.
You love New York.
I love New York. I like the hustle bustle. I like the traffic. I love everybody. I like the attitudes thing. I just love New York.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm glad that you enjoy it, though. I was just saying, just a nice little thing for you to get away from.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to strip you away from the culture of we will work you to death and then we'll collect taxes on you. Stop breathing.
Exactly.
Yeah, they feel like there's a way just to be able to strip people away. So not getting too much into the politics or actually the denouncing of a place. I guess the last question I got. No, I was curious about this. So the box, going back to the Dragon's box.
Yes.
Is there a dragon in it?
There's a dragon connected to it. Like the dragon spirit is connected to the box.
So are we talking about Japanese dragons, Chinese dragons?
It's an Asian dragon.
An Asian dragon.
I don't want to stereotype it into anything. I don't want the culture because don't want to say where the origin of this box is. I want to keep the origin of the box unknown. The box is discovered in Thailand, but it's not going to be discovered anywhere.
So I guess it's not from the Dragon's Triangle then.
No.
All right. That is actually a legit place, by the way.
Where is it?
Yep.
I got
So
research that.
It's on the opposite part of the world from the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
So that's Australia.
It's actually over by so it's near Australia-ish, but it's over in Asia, and it's a triangle that has a lot of ships that also went down over there as well.
Really? Because I was watching a podcast and we were talking about all that stuff happening on the opposite side of the planet. It's kind of weird because we're right straight through.
Yeah, it's one where they were talking about was the methane in the water over here in the Bermuda Triangle. So what it does, the buoyancy of ships gets offset. So that's what creates is the sinking part of it.
Yeah.
Because it depletes the water from being like 1.0 density to a lot less, and because it's mixing with the methane, and it's separating the particles. So then the wood itself, which it has a lower density than water, becomes a little bit more and it just sinks. It's interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. It just is, and then also has some other thing to deal with the magnetics. So it also jacks up compasses as well.
That's interesting.
Random facts.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But I want to say thank you for making this time, brother.
Thanks. Well, I go live tomorrow on Kickstarter. If anyone has a chance, please support, share.
Where can you find it?
You can find it on Instagram. You can find it on TikTok. You can find it on Facebook, and you can find me on YouTube.
So I'm gonna be silly though. So TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube has thousands and millions of channels.
Okay. Look for What Works on
How do you spell it?
WHUT Works WORKS.
With a question mark?
Well, not it's just What Works. You'll find me on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on Instagram. You can find me at MasterCow76.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There